if you work from the top down and start teaching complex surgery to people that are there, one of the big problems you always hear from the third world is we cannot retain staff. So if you teach them how to do something well, they will use that as a mechanism to move off and go somewhere else. So we decided, Paul and I, that we would work from the bottom up and the top down. So whilst we go over to Ghana, all the surgeons that go are training and teaching locally, but also treating people. We have to remember that. And then we're bringing the junior doctors over to the UK for training. Now, it doesn't sound much. We've had one orthopedic trainee who has spent, in total, he spent 5 years in the UK. He spent 4 years as an SHO some years ago, and then with Motec he came back for 1 year to learn how to do arthroplasty, hip and knee replacements, which he's now able to do on his own. We have his colleague coming over to join us in February. We currently have 2 junior doctors that arrived the week before we left to Ghana, who are at the Mayday Hospital in Croydon. And I say junior, it took me 2 years to persuade the GMC to allow us to give GMC registration to these people without them having to do the PLAB. So any of you who know about the PLAB, it's a dreadful exam, very high intensity, high cost. If you're going to do PLAB, you should do it when you train as an undergraduate, not years later, because it covers the whole breadth. And so we managed to persuade, we now have the GMC on board. They are prepared to bring these people over. And the day before we left, one of these young trainees phoned up Paul and said, "You'll never guess what, I actually assisted at a laparoscopic procedure." That is a telescope in the abdomen, and the surgeon, now all this lab was doing was just holding this telescope. There was nothing. But he'd never heard of the procedure, he'd never seen it, and to him this was real magic, and he was so delighted. Now that really uplifted us, and we wish to go forward. But of course training is difficult. We've heard from Louise about problems across the Atlantic. Whether they are problems or not is not for us to comment on really, nor should we. But we have a moment in time. We have Brexit. We now have a moment when there aren't going to be European doctors flooding in. We keep hearing of thousands of European doctors. They're not going to be coming. We have a huge shortage of doctors. Why don't we just share that shortage with places that would like to get the additional training? So if we can bring third world country trainees over here into our system at a time when we need it, and we can send qualified surgeons over there, then it's a win-win-win-win-win situation.